Max and I met over 6 years ago. It started actually with a trip to Spain where we just went with a car and a tent, and we knew that that was a lot of fun, but there was a lot of work setting up the tent every time, getting all the stuff ready, and we often slept at campsites, and then we saw the vans that were just there and they just started cooking, and yeah, we were kind of jealous of that. And yeah, personally, me and also Max, we've always been fantasizing about getting a van and building out our van ourselves, although we don't have any prior experience really with building or woodworking. And yeah, I think that's kind of where the idea started, and then also with Instagram and talking to people on how realistic is it to build out a van by yourself, things like that, that really helped encourage the decision to buy a van and get it. Hi, I'm Nici.
And I'm Max.
And this is our little Olive on wheels, as we call it.
We also call him Ollie. Let's go have a tour. Welcome to our living room. Here we have some comfortable sitting space for when it's nice out, we just want to read a book or whatever. It also serves as storage underneath here and here. We can lift everything up and we have all our clothes. We have our battery in the back, some random stuff. Underneath here is also, in the bottom is our engine, so we can also lift it up the other way. We have some extra storage, and in case we ever need some engine repairs, you can get to it.
Yeah, basically what we do is right now we have it as a little seating area here, but obviously at night we make this our bed with just some easy wood planks that we just put on these two. And then we have an extra cushion that we put here, so then it folds out to yeah, a bed which is about 185. But we can also put the seats to the front, and then we get some extra centimeters so that Max also fits into the bed.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually built it so you can also lift up the seat, turn around and put it back in, so I can put my feet on the seat. But it turned out that it was just way too much work doing it like that, so we always just shift it forward and fold it forward, and it works as well. Also, the bed itself, it's just like 1 meter wide. So you have to like your partner and cuddle every night, but it's no problem. Also for the colder nights, you just warm up to each other. Also now we have a little kitty with us since a couple of days, so there's even less space for the both of us, but yeah, we make do. It works.
And the cat mainly sits just on the cushions while we drive, has this little spot right here. So here next to our bed we have like a little pantry where we keep all our food items. Yeah, you can open it from this side, but also from the other side, because we have 2 sliding doors, which is yeah, really practical, also just to air out the van. But yeah, we really like these little doors. We put some Rodin in it, yeah, just because it looks pretty nice, and we wanted to have it all to build everything with natural materials. And yeah, then we cut out these 2 little doors here, and this also serves as a little table, you can say, just to put some bottles, or at night we put some extra blankets or stuff like that on here. And during the day when we're standing somewhere and we have to charge our phones, we have our portable battery here, which we usually keep here where I'm sitting underneath when we are driving. But now when we're charging our phones and the iPad, we can easily just take it out, and yeah, we load it up through a solar panel that's also portable, and we just put it outside. And we're really happy with this system also because it's very compact, and yeah, we don't have much space, so this is a perfect solution for us, and it definitely serves its purpose. We always have enough energy, and here in the south the sun shines a lot, so that definitely helps.
I think you first saw another person who had exactly this van, and she had a really cool video of how she built it out on the inside and how you can take everything out and set up the table and so on. And I think that sort of got you hooked on the idea of this van. And then we started looking online at other people who did it, because we knew how small this one was. And then we saw a guy who was like 2 meters tall living, and he camped in this van. So we thought it's surely possible for me too. And then we looked online for a bit, and the very first one she saw online, we went to, was quite a sketchy dealer. Didn't really want to concede on anything. Some stuff was broken on the car, but he was quite pushy and didn't want to fix it. In the end, we already fell in love with the car a bit, so we did buy it.
So yeah, in a tiny van like this, it's really important to have a lot of storage room because of all the stuff that we want to take. And that's why we decided to put another shelf here on the side. So our bed is about 1.3 meters wide. And then we have this almost 20 centimeter closet next to it, which you can easily just open. Here we have one big storage space. Just our stuff for the night. So our clothes, some bathroom stuff, and here's like some games. And then we also have some tea and sugar that we just use on a daily basis that we can easily just screw out like this. So it's, these are old recycled pickle jars. So we try to use recycled materials whenever possible, but obviously with these big planks we used new wood. And then again we have this little Rodan shelf right here with also extra stuff like underwear, some cream, and things we need in the night. And this is nice because it's easy accessible when we're sleeping. And up top here we have a little shelf. We call it our attic because it's the highest shelf in our van. Just some books, we have some toilet paper here. We also have like a little LED light. You can't really see it now, but at night this is really nice for the atmosphere as well, and it gives us some light. And yeah, we just decorated it with some popsicle sticks, as you can see here. Just to give it a nice look from the bottom. On our ceiling, we just used one of those sort of bamboo straw mats that you can get at the hardware store. They use it usually for the garden for protection, but we thought it would look nice on the ceiling because it had this gray ceiling on the roof when we bought it. And we thought we'd make it a bit nicer with this straw mat. And yes, on the other side of our bed, we have another piece of storage here what we can take out. So we really tried to make use of every little corner of the van. And here we keep our towels, some extra gas bottles, and some other toiletries. So this is also really practical because we can easily access it. And yeah, on the front we have some memories, some Polaroids from the trip that we keep here.
How much is the cost?
3,000 euros.
Yeah, including like the German TÜV, so getting it checked, although that was also a bit sketchy, and we basically had to redo a lot of things. But yeah, it's for us, the decision for this tiny van was also because we were students at that time, and we tried to do some part-time jobs and stuff, but we didn't have a lot of financial resources, and we always dreamed about like the Volkswagen buses, but you just look online and they're 10,000, 15,000, and it was something that was like unreachable for us. We're like, oh, someday when we're rich, we're gonna buy a van and do this. But then when we saw this other little van, it was really inspirational because you can actually do it with way less. Yeah. And it's not a Volkswagen, but it's something else, and we actually think it has a lot of character.
Yeah. And plus, I think we're both a bit minimalist in that we think we can live with less. You don't always need to have more or bigger or better stuff. You can always sometimes scale down. And that's the same with this. We have just a limited set of clothes we take with us, just a limited amount of water. Don't have a fridge, toilet, or shower with us. But we all make do. It's also easier to build in the van that way, so you just need to build in some wood. Here at the back, we have some more clothing boxes. We have our big water canister, which is 10 liters. The rest of the bathroom with the toothbrushes and so on. We have a spade for toilet situations here in the bottom. And then the main feature is our pull-out kitchen. Because we have so little space inside, we decided to make the kitchen so we can pull it out and expand. We have a 2-pit gas stove here, which uses just butane gas bottles. We have another side here with our bowls and plates, spices, forks, knives, that sort of stuff. We have a pot and a pan here. We actually decided to go for some really big sized pots and pans because we like to cook. And then we have all our stuff for coffee and tea here in the bottom. We're really proud with this one. It's one of the last things we put in the car. And we built it all ourselves with a bit of help from my dad as well. And it's been working perfectly fine so far. And we decorated it a bit. We made a handle here and some plinths on the side to cover up some of the less pretty stuff. Also, We made this whole compartment fit exactly, so we had 2 centimeters left. So we put in a little sliding table here. So sometimes we just put our chairs on the side, we can put our tea glasses on here, and then just sit and relax. We have these hooks here that we have all over the car, which we use for curtains, for instance, or for hanging up our iPad, and they're just metal hooks, really handy for small stuff. And we also made the baseboard in the back look a bit prettier. Nici and her dad, they installed just this wooden side to cover up also some less pretty areas. Yeah.
How thick is the mattress?
The mattress is 10 centimeters thick. So we just ordered, we decided thickness of mattress is something important because we want to have a good night's sleep. And we decided to order 4 separate parts because we can lift up all of these separate areas here. What we can also do on the inside is we can lift it up and then put like stilts on the back. So we have a sofa that faces outwards, which is very nice. What Nici actually did is she sewed everything herself here. And so just like the rest of the car, most of it is made by us.
So basically just bought a huge mattress and cut it and...
We on the website we could just order the exact sizes that we needed, so we didn't even need to cut it ourselves. It wasn't any more expensive. Yeah. Other small stuff is these things are not as strong as they used to be anymore. The back door would also always fall down. So what we did instead is just put some tie wraps on the bottom that keep it up. Just small, simple solutions to fix the problems, but it works.
How it's been working for you so far? It's exactly how you imagined it?
I think I was a little bit skeptic beforehand. Still about the size and so on, but the size, I completely forget about how small it is. I feel very at home in this car, and every night I look forward to just snuggling in bed there. So yeah, I think it's better for me than I thought it would be. And also just the whole camping experience. We've been really lucky with the weather as well, which has made it much nicer. But yeah, everything's been really good so far.
Yeah, I think based on our experience with traveling in a tent, this for us is really luxurious. So if you compare it to camping, really in a tent, this is definitely a big upgrade. And yeah, of course, if we compare ourselves to these sprinters, then we're missing a lot of stuff, but for us it's fine. And I guess it really depends on what kind of people you are.
Painting and so on we did do ourselves, just with a roller, the whole car. We also did the inside new with white, just cost us €100 with all the materials included. We put in some new mirrors because they weren't keeping steady anymore. We just decided to put in this window so we have a bit more light inside and not the other one because we do want some privacy sometimes when we're sitting there. And we put in some ropes here so stuff doesn't fall out when we're driving. And we measured these compartments so they fit for certain things, like we have these glass bottles here for oats, for instance, that we took from home. And it's just easy to take it in and out. And this compartment here, for instance, we've made to fit a wine bottle in exactly. And then, yeah, we just have some smaller boxes here. We just bought them at IKEA, but they're super functional. And you could just take out a whole box if you want to eat breakfast, for instance. And then also here, some additions from our trip through Portugal. We bought some tiles at a local artisan's shop. We really like them. We have some more stuff here for drinks, some oil bottles, and we have a fire extinguisher here on the bottom as well. We thought it's quite useful to have one. And besides that, yeah, we have these curtains. Also, Nici made them herself. Just she used an old tablecloth and recycled it, and she dyed it with some coffee grounds or some tea. I don't know which one, but they were white before and now they're a little bit brownish, so it fits the tone color. Also in the front, the seat cover, she also did those herself. I can maybe show you like this. So you have one for the top and the bottom, because before it was like this old grayish color we didn't like.
How do you sustain this lifestyle if you're traveling on savings, or what is the plan in the future? Do you plan to travel or go back home?
Yeah, so now beforehand we just worked a bit to save some money, and we worked enough to travel for about 5-6 months. I think initially we planned 5 months, but now we think we can even stay 6 months. With the cat, that might change a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we decided to just go on vacation, not work. We did think about options, like you can do some translation work online easily. You don't even need stuff without a degree. So we have the option, but I think we're just gonna roll it out till the money's gone, sorta,
Yeah.
and then head home.
Well, also one thing we did in Portugal, we did like a workaway, so sort of volunteering. For 1 week, we stayed with the family on a little farm, and that's also really cost efficient because, we got to stay there for free basically. We had to help a bit in the household and the yard with the garden work, but it was really little work, and we could stay with them for a week. So, yeah, things like that we also really like.
This is our cockpit area. As you can see, it's a small car, and I'm 193, but I can fit here quite easily. The only thing is when we're driving and we have the windshield wipers on, I can't shift into first gear anymore because my knee's in the way. Usually not a problem, maybe if you're in a traffic jam or something, but for the rest it's okay. And right now I'm also sitting on top of the engine, so if I need to fill motor oil or something, we just lift the seats up and we get to the engine. It's a 1.3 liter gasoline engine. It has, I think, like 65 horsepower. Top speed of this car is also 130 kilometers an hour, but if you're going at that speed, it's really not that comfortable driving. You don't hear the other person that well, and it's swaying quite a bit because the car itself is also super small and light. Empty, it just weighs under a ton, and I think now maybe we have like 100 kilos in it. So still very light. Means it's easy to drive up steep roads and so on, and it does that with no problem. Or if you get stuck in the mud, you can just push it out. It's an advantage, I guess. But yeah, and the car itself is just 3 meters 40 long, 1 meter 40 wide, and 1 meter 87 high. So I'm actually taller than the car itself. But yeah, I mean, it just means we can fit in small spaces, park anywhere we want. Plus, we've parked in some places where you're not allowed to, but the police just don't think that people are sleeping in this car, so that's also another advantage. Disadvantage is, of course, we always live outside the car, which makes us so much more social. You know, everybody can come up to talk with us, but if it's cold or if it's raining, you want to get back in the car where it's warm, and we don't have that much space, but luckily we're in the south of Spain here, and it's usually nice weather. Like now it's almost 20 degrees, sun is shining, so yeah, you can just enjoy the outside. So the car has almost 160,000 kilometers right now. We bought it when, like 10,000 kilometers ago, and on this trip we've done 6,000 so far. Really haven't had any troubles with the engine so far. On gas mileage, it does like 7 liters to 100 kilometers, so it's also quite cheap. I mean, it's so light, so it doesn't consume that much.
Does it consume any oil?
Yes, it does consume a bit of oil. Actually, after I think like 1,500 kilometers from our start, we found out that it had no motor oil at all anymore, even though we filled it up before we left. So we filled it up again. It only has like 3.5 liter motor oil capacity, but ever since it's been okay. I think in total on the whole trip we filled maybe 4 to 5 liters of motor oil over 6,000 kilometers. I mean, it's a bit older car. It's 21 years old now, but it's doable. It's not that expensive.
I guess we kind of build it for our needs. So I guess every van person does that way. But yeah, for us, it's also a learning by doing project. We started with the side shelf and the bed, and then we built the kitchen later. So it was like one step at a time. We didn't have like a full design in the beginning that we did everything perfect. It was, for us, it was a really long learning process.
Pretty bad design process on the whole van. Like we started on one part and then went on to something else, and then we went back to the first part again. Like with the kitchen drawer, we saw that the walls were like not parallel at all, so we had to build like a triangle shaped thing so the rails would be in line. But yeah, So it was a whole learning project for us.
But that's something we're, I guess, still kind of proud of because we don't have any prior experience in building out, and maybe that's also an inspiration for other people who...
Were you looking for inspiration on Instagram, all the kind of vans, or were you looking exactly these small vans?
First, just general vans, just for little details, like with the doors and stuff. That's what we I guess we got from like Pinterest and Instagram. But yeah, specifically this van, I mean, when you start looking for this van, then you realize how many people are actually doing that. So there's quite a big community for this specific vehicle as well. And we even went to like a meeting with only people, or like a weekend with people that have this car. And that also helped for inspiration, talking to people, seeing what is feasible, because a lot of the build here is really, does it even fit? Can we even build that in this car? So yeah, just the minimalist build, I guess.
Yeah. And you decide not to have isolation. How do you feel about it? Was it a mistake, or you still think it was a good decision?
No. Yeah, it was like, I think it's not a mistake for us now because we're traveling in the winter, but in the warmer countries. So during the day when it's warm, we can just be outside. And we also don't need to work, so we don't need the cool space necessarily. And then when it's cold at night, we just cover ourselves in blankets, cuddle, put on maybe a pair of socks, or we have put on like hats and so on when it was like -2 degrees outside.
Really, if you're traveling in these countries at this time, we think it's not necessary at all. But I think you do have to be a couple that likes to cuddle a lot, because we try to cuddle as close as possible at night, just also to keep us warm, but because we like doing it. And then we got this little guy who's also keeps us warm.
Would be there something you would have been done different if you started all over again?
I mean, the whole process of buying the van, we were very impulsive. We just saw this van, we're like, cute, let's buy it. We didn't put a lot of thought into it, so maybe it would have been better to maybe research a little bit about the van and maybe look at a couple offers. So that's maybe a mistake, but after all, it turned out to be okay. So we don't regret that, but maybe that's just some tips for other people. This would be to first really put a bit of research into it.
The building process?
The building, I think the one big regret we have is the whole cooking situation. So we got the double burner with these gas bottles, the butane gas. And we realized being full-time on the road and cooking almost every meal, you really go through these gas bottles really quick. And that's something we didn't think about that much before. So we really wished we'd gotten like a bigger gas tank. But then again, it's not as portable. So yeah, that's just a bit of thought we didn't have in the beginning.
Yeah.
Just because in terms of waste also, we think we're trying to be as resourceful as possible with this van in terms of water, electricity. We have our renewable energy system, but the gas situation is a bit not too sustainable.
No,
but
exactly.
That's something we would maybe redo when we go home. In terms
for the rest, the car, I think I would do if I would start over again, I think I would take the same one for this trip. Really like it. Yeah. Considering also the budget and so on that we had, and
so how much
was
it total?
It was less than 4,500.
Yeah, we paid about 3,000 for the van itself, and it was all our labor and friends' labor, so we didn't pay anybody except to get like the whole mechanics checked out.
Yeah.
That was about 500, 600 euros, and then we had some things built in. So the window, we wanted an extra window, and but all the wood, I mean, it was less than 500 euros because we used some, a friend gave us some of his old wood that we could use for the floor and some other shelves, and then we only bought 2 big wood pieces. I think that's also a really big advantage with a small van. You just don't need that much wood because it's just not that much space. And with like the curtains and the cushions, we try to use like materials we already had at home, make a lot of stuff ourselves. I think it was a whole lot of do-it-yourself projects. We learned how to sew and all that stuff. So it was a lot of fun.
Do you document all these things on your social media somewhere?
We have an Instagram, Little Olive, it's called.
And we try to, personally, I'm the one taking most of the pictures. I've always loved photography. I'm not a professional photographer or anything, but I put a lot of time and into it, and
takes good pictures.
We take some nice pictures and the locations, also with the van, and we do a bit of editing as well. But it's all hobby. It's not professional, but we really like the whole Instagram community around it. Also, just to meet people. We didn't think we would get so much recognition also on Instagram. Just random people writing if we want to meet up. It's so nice also for meeting people.
Thank you for showing us your little tiny home on wheels.
Yeah, no problem.
Of course. We always like to share. I think that's also one thing. We get a lot of attention with this vehicle because so many people just can't really imagine that we're living in it because it's so small, and especially if they see Max, see a tall guy in such a small van with a cat, it's all a bit crazy for them. For us as well, but yeah, we kind of got used to it. But especially if we're in parking spaces at a grocery store, it's a lot of people coming and asking. But yeah, we always like to share our story, so thank you for filming us.
Yeah.